Hi Taurus, this is your December 2024 soul story if you have a sun, rising or moon in the sign. This is your final soul story for the year. It's Romy here. Thank you so much for tuning in and for all your support and investment in the channel. I appreciate you. We're opening up this month with the energy of the Chariot. Progress is inevitable, but you're definitely looking at life differently. And you know, it's a really sensitive, emotive time of the year where there's an awful lot of reflection and at the same time a deep desire to perhaps move away from what you have outgrown. And I think that even though there may be parts of your life where you feel a little bit jaded or disillusioned, you know, or things that are still feeling really overwhelming or unclear or uncertain, there's definitely almost like a pull and a calling and something that's emerging in the month of December that's saying, please give me focus. Like that's where the light is shining. And even if nothing else makes sense, it's like this one thing can be enough to just keep you on track and focused. And the Chariot is really indicative of the need to move forward, to give yourself permission to do that. Now, in the beginning of the month, we do have Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, and we're also going to then welcome Mars retrograde in Leo. These fire energies, when they're back spinning, definitely teach us how to direct our agitation, our frustration, our impatience, and perhaps even anger. And you know, there's a lot to learn about how we are now responding given the growth and the experiences that we've been through, right? The thing with December is that I feel there's an awful lot of contradictory energy. So that means that you kind of have to work with what you know and what you trust and be ensuring that you're kind of putting a very strong filtering process, you know, to kind of really ensure that you release a lot of the BS, frankly. There's a time, I think, in December for second chances. All of these retrograde energies are looking for you to perhaps reevaluate some things in your life. And maybe that's revisiting some important conversations, coming back into contact with people, or even just the way that you've been thinking about something. You know, there's definitely a shift in priority, and you owe it to yourself, I think, Taurus, to really consider what that then means for you as you're sort of trying to wrap up and close down this year. There's always this sort of simultaneous feeling of beginning and endings happening, and the Chariot says sometimes we have to sort of almost like learn on the run, you know, on the go. It's almost like you're not always afforded the time to kind of give yourself lots of room to kind of consider things before you're needing to kind of just move with where the energy is directing you. You've got the Ten of Cups here, and the fact that the Chariot is moving toward the Ten of Cups with that beautiful rainbow. I want to just share with you this sort of analogy that I'm picking up for December. It's almost like, on the whole, at times it feels like there's this thick cloud cover, but all the way through the month, like the sun is able to just shine and break through that cloud cover, and it affords you that kind of brilliant blue sky and the warmth and the vitality and the energy boost that you need, right? And as it punctuates however it lands, you know, whether it's just the odd day or like a period of a few days, it's like it's enough to kind of grab that energy and go, right, okay, here's my meaning, here's my why, here's the sign I was looking for, here's the conversation that I needed, here's what mattered. And you know, there's something here directly about your joy, and I want to say and remind you that, you know what, someone's presence or absence in your life may absolutely affect you and affect you deeply and profoundly this month. However, don't let it claim your peace or your ability to still find the joy in the moment and in the season and in the time that you're at right now. And I think the more you can give yourself credit and acknowledgement for this year, for where you are right now, for who you've become with everything that you've been through, you know, that's really what December can do as you kind of hold peace for yourself in that energy that says, I'm going to give some respite and refuge, really, you know, as I come up against what may feel like some very contradictory experiences. Now, let's talk about approaching the 7th, because there is a beautiful conversation happening astrologically here. Venus moves into Aquarius on the 6th, and then on the 7th, Sarah is into the sign. She's a very nurturing energy, very moon-like, Venus almost, and also ruling money. The same day we have Venus conjunct with Pluto, Sun opposing Jupiter, and so it feels like there could be something that comes to light, and perhaps something that you've already been thinking about, or that you are sort of sensing, can herald like some sort of optimistic outlook on the horizon. Now, because we've tracked back with the retrograde energies, it may mean that you have to revisit something to see the value of it or how you're going to be able to do it. Or it may be that there's a little bit of a slowing down before you're going to be able to kind of really take something forward. That said, it could come in a rather unconventional or unexpected way. So keep an eye out. The 7th feels like in and around that day is one of these sun breaking through the cloud moments that I talked about. Neptune also stations direct, and so we're able to sort of see things much more clearly. And I think remind ourselves of what's important and what matters. Like I said, I think you're just looking at life very differently. If you are wondering, if you are feeling into the mixed messages, I think that's probably going to be an experience that happens in December. Drop into your heart space, because you're going to be able to pick up what it is that you need to know, okay? The 12/12 portal is going to be a beautiful time to just give yourself that moment. We've got the sun here. To realize that actually, like, some of the gifts that you have that have yet to even be explored, or that perhaps you want to revisit, are going to be incredibly supportive, not just this month, but actually in kind of what comes next. And I think many people are feeling that sort of void-like energy right now, and a lot of unknown, uncertain considerations, or making it more difficult perhaps to think about planning or strategizing with regards to things. I do feel that when you come into that energy of the full moon in Gemini and Mercury stations direct in Sagittarius, there's some incredibly important conversations. Now, there may be some fairly sharp words coming in your direction, or even that you end up, expressing yourself. I don't think that they're necessarily meant. I think that, sometimes we have to just remind ourselves to come from a place of love, not because we are seeking a particular response. And, sometimes if we can catch ourselves, or we realize that other people are doing this, that they're really trying to elicit a particular type of response. I think that's quite prevalent around that Gemini moon. Nonetheless, I think where something maybe have felt confusing, or there have been mixed messages, or something that was perhaps delayed, you get good news or a breakthrough or something that comes in that's much more positive around that moon. And of course for you, Taurus, as it ignites the 2nd house, we talk about that energy of the 7th. I think there's something material that you're definitely taking under advisement and consideration through the course of this month. And you know what? When it's right for you, it's like you get an energy surge in your physical body. You kind of feel it, like a rippling effect moving through you. Pay attention to that, because it's likely that it will arrive this month when something that is discussed, or that you come to a decision about, or that you initiate by way of a plan. It's just that almost mirroring yes feeling that's coming from your physical body, right? It feels quite powerful. 2 of Wands at the center of your reading here. It's almost like you figure out a way to make this work. You figure it out, and that's no mean feat, because you might be looking at something that seems so overwhelming, or so complex, or so tricky or challenging, in amongst all of the overwhelming sort of frenzy and spiraling out energy that this season delivers. But you know what? I really feel that you're having that moment where there's just a absolute clarity comes, and it's like, okay, this is what I need to do next. And even if it's just the next step, it's going to be enough, actually. And it's quite a powerful next step. And, there's definitely going to have to be some courage and confidence in it as well, because I don't think that you're going to necessarily have everything that you need in an ideal world. If you were able to communicate, this is what's going to help me to make this happen, I think there's going to be quite a few pieces missing right now. But what you'll find is, if you're prepared and willing to sort of trust in yourself, bet on yourself, and move in that direction, just as the Chariot is advocating, I think quite quickly what you'll start to see is that support system in whatever way it needs to show up for you. And it helps you again to sort of clear out where a lot of the contradictions lie. Sometimes we just have to keep moving forward, even where there are sort of polarizing experiences pervading. Eight of Wands, you've actually got some really nice energies to work with here, right? Which doesn't mean to say that, you know, you're necessarily feeling buoyant, optimistic and joyful the entirety of the month. But what it does absolutely show from the majors, the Chariot, the Sun, the High Priestess, you know what's best for you. And you can actually improve and find real creative solutions to things. And actually by directing the light in the right way, it's going to make it feel to you like more is possible than perhaps what you had anticipated when maybe things unfolded in a specific way, right? So as the Sun comes into Capricorn, you welcome solstice on the 21st. Again, news, information, communication. It feels like it shows you a way up and away from something. I think the disconnect or releasing an attachment feels very important for you in this final month of the year. And, you know, as we come in toward that more Capricorn energy, 9th house for you, there's something on the horizon that is calling you. Like I said, it's this pull. It's already in motion. And so there may even be a part of you that's like, can you just slow this down because I've got things to sort out? But it kind of feels like divine timing is saying, no, you got to jump on board now. And that could feel a little bit stressful. But at the same time, I think it can be exhilarating if you allow it to be. Now, Jupiter squares with Saturn on the 24th, just ahead of the holiday season. So a little bit of friction's coming in there. Again, it just shows me maybe you're already anticipating that. You expect it. You know, it's how it is. It's where the land lies. I certainly feel like having a plan and ensuring that you put things in place is going to be super supportive for you. Chiron stationing direct on the 29th, right ahead of the new moon in Capricorn, actually feels like it's offering something really powerful for you. I think you realize actually just how far you've come regarding a specific healing journey, and you're able to kind of shut a door and maybe find some closure in regards to something. And you know, maybe that's something that's actually been causing resistance for quite some time. There definitely feels this very karmic energy that's being lifted through the month of December that helps kind of set you up and put you in a position where you just feel a little bit more, you know, I kind of hesitate to say optimistic, because I think that there's even a part of you that's just like, I daren't even like believe that this is like gonna be better. However, I do think that you again have that physical, visceral feeling of something coming in around that time that kind of says, you know what, this time I'm doing it, or this time it's gonna work. And it's because you've looked at life so differently. And you know, what we say about ourselves and the year that we've had is so important, because it really helps to pre-pave, you know, what happens next. So keep that in mind, right? And remember that second chances, if it's something that's coming up in December, also can mean it's a second chance to affirm a no or to draw a line, or to be absolutely sure that in fact you did make the right decision and it is still an absolute firm no, or not yet, or not for me. Okay, I feel like I need to say that to you. Just remember, I think that more than anything, December is trying to deliver to you, Taurus, a mirror to just how far you've grown. And that means that there's opportunities for you to show up in a way that demonstrates that. So take the pause when you need it to allow yourself to come from that evolved version of you. And you'll really see how people look at you and respond to you differently, okay? There's something a little bit special happening in December for you. It's a very personal experience. It kind of feels like it's between you and your guides, and you've got a deep knowing. And it's like when you get that sign or that validation, you're like, yeah, I know. I feel it too. And it's just, it really is a heart-moving moment, okay? If you're new to the channel, our last three cards we're going to look at in the extended reading, Taurus. We talk for another 30 minutes or so. We look at a relationship and a personal card. We'll also look at a card for the year ahead, see what's showing up around that for you. So I hope you'll be able to join me if you're in a position to do so. It helps me to keep showing up for the channel. I'm just going to go ahead and clarify the cards and see the direction that we're going to be taking that. Nine of Swords, Six of Cups. and you can find all the decks always listed below. Please check out my solstice activation this month, also soul soothing affirmations to support you during this season. And of course my sacred titles, my journal is shipping right now. You'll also find my oracle deck and my book and the bundles and offers that are available on romywiser.com. So I hope you'll take a moment to check that out. Hierophant, Magician and the Sun, there's something special, you see. Seven of Cups, okay. Justice. Judgment, a whole lot of majors coming in here. Right, let's have a look at Life Soul Vision Oracle and just see what it wants to add to this conversation for you, Taurus. Okay. Blossoming Soul Song. We've got Earth Star Energy, Sacred Ceremony. Casting out constellations. This is the way, this is the work. We've got Full Moon, Soulful Surrender on the 15th, so that's going to be poignant. Queen of Water, Healing Elixir. Okay, now we're going to look at the Soul Call Oracle. Just see how it wants to add to this conversation for us. What do we have for Taurus for December? We've got Dancing with Duality, Embracing Light and Shadow. That feels relevant for that Gemini full moon. Taurus, thank you so much for joining me. I just wanted to give you a very quick flip through here of the journal that is making its way out to all of you who have ordered. It's really a beautiful soul companion. It's going to work alongside all your diaries and planners. It's another sacred title that I just feel is going to be so supportive on your spiritual journey, just full of beautiful prompts and opportunities to remind yourself like how much you have invested in your spiritual journey and just really be a reference guide for you. So I hope you'll go have a look on romywiser.com. Thank you for being here. I wish you a really peaceful, grounded, joyful holiday season. And I'm going to look forward to seeing you again in 2025. Thank you again for all your support. Take care.